to beat people, to threaten people, to put a person in a situation where they have to think for the next 5 hours about whether or not they're going to be okay is a very, very, very bad thing to do. Like I had a situation when I performed at the Book Café when riot police walked in, and all of these things now start to come into your work as an artist, and it puts you in a situation where now you have to really start thinking about what you're saying and what you're doing. So dicey.
I find it amazing in Zimbabwe that as the crisis has escalated over the last 10 years, so the role of music and musicians and the number of musicians and the importance of musicians has grown phenomenally.
You get all sorts of dubious characters employed by the system to come and threaten you at your show, or to write bad stories in newspapers about a particular musician. And it's an indication that from a legal point of view, it's very difficult to put structures which actually control the musician's voice. So the best way to deal with it is to do all these indirect, crude attacks.
We have a responsibility. We're not bankers, we're not doctors, we're not nurses, we have another part that we play in society that must be done. So regardless of whether the system is going to come in and say, cut what you're saying, we're going to send riot cops into your shows, we're going to come and arrest you, and we're going to try and put you. It doesn't matter. We have a responsibility.
It was said recently by Chirikure, elections come and go, but a poem or a song lasts a century. And this is really true in our culture. And so the musicians look for the deeper meaning. In many ways, the creative process, it really is thinking deeply about what it is that people are doing, ordinary people's lives. These are the people's musicians. It's really, that's it in our situation. And in so many ways, this brings our musicians on a collision course with agencies of the state, with instruments of the state.
I don't think the artists are going to stop speaking. If anything, there's going to be more artists speaking, from what I can see, definitely. So long as there's arrests and everything, yeah, we'll keep talking.
One thing which has really kept me going is in any culture, music is always there in historical situations. The Bible, for example, talks about the walls of Jericho falling through music. And if song and dance...
Yeah, those trumpets...
Song and dance destroyed colonialism in Africa.
Yeah.
Why can't it handle dictators? It will eventually, because, like we said, poetry, music will always be there long after the politician.
Vana vanogwara mudzimudzoka kwazwai vachangamire. Vana vanogwara mudzimudzoka kwazwai kavakuruwe. Vana vanogwara mudzimudzoka kwazwai nehanda mudzimudzoka kwazwai chaminuka mudzimudzoka kwazwai kaguvi mudzimudzoka kwazwai changamire.
Musicians in our culture have an amazing sense of being able to sing very simple lyrics that touch ordinary people, because we are an oral culture. There's no doubt about that. Very simple lyrics that really mean something to everybody. and yet are so profound that you can listen to those lyrics again and again and literally hundreds of times, and it stimulates discussion everywhere, in buses, in homes, in beer halls, and wherever people gather. We have a way of talking to each other, of telling stories to each other, that is full of proverbs and idiom. And the musicians sing in the same way, actually. And they tell stories that resonate with the day-to-day life of people, but in a deep way.
To someone who is in a situation of struggle, of strife, the moment you talk about, I wish I could travel to the village tomorrow and kiss you, Mary. It's loaded with meaning, because the voice is literally saying, I have no fuel to drive to the village. There's no fuel for the bus to ferry me to the village. And so there's a deeper underlying message, which innocent minister, government official thinks, okay, they're just dancing about the community problems. But it's deeper underlying messages which keep the community going, keeping the society going.
The simple message and the lesson we've learnt in Zimbabwe is that music, in particular, in our society, and art in general, and creative expression, cannot ultimately be censored. It cannot be manipulated. It can't be stopped. It's an unstoppable force. And there have been so many attempts to channel the message of music and the message of musicians to fit one or another political agenda. And yet the musicians have said, no, we refuse. We sing with the people or not at all.
Exactly. Kwazwai Changami.